Just when you thought Donald Trump couldn't cause a bigger mess, buckle up and brace for impact. New report out, Alternet has a story here. The US government announced it was lifting a 3-year ban on federal funding for experiments that alter viruses to make them even deadlier. Great, what could go wrong? Well, Trump, of course, had to undo that ban because it was done under Obama. If Obama did something, then Trump has to do the opposite. Let's find out if this is potentially dangerous. Gain-of-function research, as they call it, in which scientists make pathogens more powerful or easily transmissible, is aimed at preventing disease outbreaks by better understanding how they might occur. The studies allow scientists working in a highly controlled environment to learn how a flu virus might mutate into a superbug capable of killing millions. A sort of game of wits played to gain insight into nature's unpredictability. Now, I don't want you guys to get the wrong idea. Largely, it's scientists that are working on this, and they're not doing it to kill millions of people or to spread disease. No, they're doing it to fight disease. Here, I'll give you a little bit more on that. The ultimate goal is to proactively create vaccines, medications, and other solutions to stop contagion in its tracks. But the problem is, in order to do that, they're creating the killer vaccines and studying them. But what if they get out? Now, a lot of us have seen movies like this, but it's not just a movie, as you're gonna see at the end of this story. This has happened before. So we're playing a very dangerous game. So more on this story from Kali Holloway. The new National Institute of Health Policy reverses a 2014 Obama administration funding ban on gain-of-function research projects, specifically involving all forms of influenza virus, Middle East respiratory syndrome, MERS, and severe acute respiratory syndrome, SARS. The new rules would extend beyond those viruses, applying to any pathogen that could potentially cause a pandemic, according to the New York Times. For example, they would apply to a request to create an Ebola virus transmissible through the air. Don't do that, don't do that. So look, I trust that these are good intentioned people that are doing this in the name and interest of science, and so that we can be prepared when epidemics break out. But I think that incompetence is the trademark of this administration. As Scaramucci once said, the fish rots from the head down. I mean, Trump is the guy who looked at the solar eclipse. They told him not to. Somebody screamed while he was doing it. He was like, huh? I mean, you don't think he'll go and be like, what's going on here? Blah. Right? Now, he's not physically, literally gonna do that. I hope not. But when you have an incompetent administration who doesn't care to do its homework, remember, they give him really important foreign policy matters in the size of a tweet, otherwise he can't concentrate, and they put his name in it. So, and what does he do? He hires other incompetent people. Remember, his judges recently got laughed out of the Senate, some by fellow Republicans, because they'd never been inside a courtroom. One was declared unanimously by the American Bar Association as completely incapable of doing the job, unqualified. They said unanimously agreed that he was unqualified. Now, meanwhile, in other parts of the government, they are saying that you are not allowed to use phrases like science-based and evidence-based. You want those guys giving the orders on what kind of pandemics we could play around with creating airborne viruses? No. Even under careful watch, this has led to many problems in the past. Because why? We're humans, we make mistakes. You make a mistake with a virus like this and we're all in a world of trouble, literally. So let me give you some instances in the past that did not turn out well. In 2014, CNN reported that dozens of workers at the CDC had been accidentally exposed to anthrax, while others had mishandled samples of the bacteria. No staff were found to be infected by the disease after prolonged monitoring. Man, I make a mistake on air and we get to maybe edit the video or take it down, we get to issue a correction, everybody lives. You make a mistake with anthrax because we're all humans and we make mistakes, and not necessarily that everyone lives. But wait, it gets worse. At A Vice motherboard report notes that between 2003 and 2009, there were 395 events reported that could have resulted in exposure to toxic agents, although this resulted in just 7 infections. So I'm sure that the scientists working on it are doing it with great intent, but under this administration, the last thing I want them doing is playing around with deadly viruses that could be airborne and affect millions of people on the planet. Put down the viruses. Trump has gone viral enough. Let's just save this for another time, or perhaps never. What you just watched was one of the videos that we do today, but we actually do a whole 2-hour show every single day. It's a podcast. You could watch it in video or listen to it as audio. You can download it, you can stream it, and you get it completely ad-free if you could become a member of the Young Turks. tytnetwork.com/join.